There is nothing more delightful than a family Christmas party. There seems magic in the very name, Christmas. Would that Christmas lasted the whole year through, as it ought, and that the prejudices and passions which deform our better nature were never called into action among those to whom they should ever be strangers. Welcome everything. Welcome old projects and old loves, however fleeting, to your nooks among the steadier lights that burn around us. Welcome all that has ever been real to our hearts, and for the earnestness that made you real, thanks be to heaven. Welcome old aspirations, glittering creatures of our ardent fancy, to your shelter underneath the holly. We know you and have not outlived you yet. I have been looking on this evening at a merry company of children assembled around that pretty German toy, a Christmas tree. The tree was planted in the middle of a great round table and towered high above their heads. It was brilliantly lighted by a multitude of little tapers, and everywhere sparkled and glittered with bright objects. There were rosy-cheeked dolls hiding behind the green leaves, and there were real watches with movable hands, at least with an endless capacity for being wound up, dangling from the innumerable twigs. There were French-polished tables, chairs, bedsteads, wardrobes, 8-day clocks, and various other articles of domestic furniture, wonderfully made in tin at Wolverhampton, perched among the boughs as if in preparation for some fairy housekeeping. There were jolly, broad-faced little men, much more agreeable in appearance than any real men, and no wonder, for their heads took off and showed them to be full of sugar plums. There were fiddles and drums, there were tambourines, books, work boxes, paint boxes, sweetmeat boxes, peep show boxes, and all kinds of boxes. There were trinkets for the elder girls, far brighter than any grown-up gold and jewels. There were baskets and pincushions and all devices. There were guns, swords, and banners. There were witches standing in enchanted rings of pasteboard to tell fortunes. There were teetotums, humming tops, needle cases, pen wipers, smelling bottles, conversation cards, bouquet holders, real fruit made artificially dazzling with gold leaf, imitation apples, pears, and walnuts crammed with surprises. In short, as a pretty child before me delightedly whispered to another pretty child, her bosom friend, there was everything and more. This motley collection of odd objects clustering on the tree like magic fruit and flashing back the bright looks directed towards it from every side. Some of the diamond eyes admiring it were hardly on a level with the table, and a few were languishing in timid wonder on the bosoms of pretty mothers and aunts and nurses, which made a lively realization of the fancies of childhood, and set me to thinking how all the trees that grow and all the things that come into existence on the earth have their wild adornments at this well-remembered time. Ghost stories, too, were an inextricable diversion during the long winter nights. There is no end to the old houses with resounding galleries and dismal state bedchambers and haunted wings shut up for many years, through which we may ramble with an agreeable creeping up our backs, and where we may encounter any number of ghosts. But it is worthy of a remark, perhaps, reducible to a very few general types and classes. For ghosts lack originality and walk in a beaten track. Thus, it comes to pass that in a certain room, in a certain old hall, where a certain bad lord, baronet, knight, or gentleman shot himself, has certain planks in the floor from which the blood will not be taken out. You may scrape and scrape as the present owner has done, or plane and plane as his father did, or scrub and scrub as his great-grandfather did, or burn and burn with strong acids as his great-grandfather did. But there the blood will be, no redder, no paler, no more, no less, always just the same. Marley was dead to begin with, and as Tiny Tim exclaimed, "God bless us, everyone! The end and the beginning, the past, the present, and the future. Transformation from death into life." There are people who will tell you that Christmas to them is not what it used to be, that each succeeding Christmas has found some cherished hope or happy prospect of the year before dimmed or passed away, that the present only serves to remind them of reduced circumstances and straitened incomes, of the feasts they bestowed upon hollow friends, and of the cold looks that meet them now in an adversity and misfortune. Never heed such dismal reminiscences. There are few men who have lived long enough in the world who cannot call up such thoughts any day of the year, then do not select the merriest of the 365 for their doleful recollections, but draw your chair near the blazing fire, fill the glass, and sing round the song. And if your room be smaller than it was a dozen years ago, or your glass be filled with reeking punch instead of sparkling wine, put a good face on the matter, and fill another, and toll off the old ditty you used to sing, and thank God it's no worse. Reflect upon your present blessings, of which every man has many, and not on your past misfortunes, of which all men have some. Fill your glass again with a merry face upon it, and a contented heart. Be forgiving, kind, and charitable towards one another, and especially for the benefit of the poor man's child. Our life on it, but your Christmas shall be merry, and your New Year a happy one. God bless us, everyone.